DJ copyright. Why do my Facebook and YouTube live streams keep getting taken down or muted? Wow, DJs are definitely breaking the law because we are playing other people's music into the airwaves and the artist is not necessarily getting compensated. How does copyright apply to DJing online? Now, it's an interesting and complicated argument, but there's three main points. One is that copyright is automatically applied to art as soon as it is created. The artist doesn't necessarily need to file for something like a trademark or a patent. It will usually be granted to the artist themselves unless they have signed the music or the art away to their employer or their music label. The second is that it applies for a limited amount of time. Usually this is 30 plus years, and a lot of people will sample and use older music to get around some copyright laws. The third and probably the most important point about copyright is it doesn't really matter too much until you're making a lot of money from it. People aren't going to come after you unless you're making a lot of money from using their stuff, from mass distributing their music or their sample. So don't let it stop you from creating. So let's jump into it. 73 billion is the number of visits that illegal music websites get every year. Billion with a B. And 38% of people that are music consumers will still download their music illegally. That means if I don't download illegally and you don't download illegally, the next person we ask is definitely downloading their music illegally. Now, a lot of people, once they start thinking about DJ copyright, realize that, wow, DJs are definitely breaking the law because we are playing other people's music into the airwaves and the artist is not necessarily getting compensated. Well, clubs and pubs that DJs perform at will have certain licensing requirements from certain governing bodies. In America, it's ASCAP. In Australia, it's APRA. And when you apply for these licenses, these companies are supposed to pay out royalties fairly to the artists that are subscribed. This gets a bit complicated because in things like radio, it's easy to know which songs were played and how to compensate the artist, but in a club, it's a little bit tougher. The main issue with Facebook and live streaming is well summed up by this story. A proud dad uploads a video of his 4-year-old child dancing to a Shakira video. He goes to send that to the family, and when they try and open the link, they realize it's been removed from Facebook. So that dad obviously used music that he didn't have the right to use. But did that really steal from Shakira? Well, on the one side of the argument, yes, he didn't have the right to use that music. But on the other side, why should his music get taken down if he's not making any monetary value and he's just trying to create something? Then when it comes to making music, a lot of copyright applies in terms of sampling other people's music. So as a producer, if you're going to sample someone else's music, you need to generally ask permission first or apply for some kind of licensing from the person who owns that copyright or intellectual property. One of the most interesting cases was the Blurred Lines song, and interestingly enough, it really did blur the lines of where copyright sits. Pharrell basically made a song that sounded kind of similar to a Marvin Gaye song. It had nothing the same technically because it was different scale, different pitch, different song completely, but it might have had a similar vibe, and he was basically sued for millions and millions of dollars. Now the case went on and different things happened, and you can read a little bit more about that in the article, but this was an interesting case. So does copyright really stifle creativity? Because as an artist or a DJ, you might be scared to put out new content because copyright laws are stopping you. Now, this is the complete opposite of why the copyright laws are in place. But as a result of being in an online age, copyright has become a somewhat outdated law. Now, on the one side it's great because it does protect the artist, but on the other side it really does stop us from doing our work as musicians, as artists, and as DJs. What would the world look like if we had a different compensation model? If we look to industries like fashion and food, where copyright doesn't or can't exist, well, they're thriving. You can completely copy someone's shoe design and get away with it. And as a result, what happens is the designers, they have to consistently and continually innovate. It becomes hard for the artists because yes, they have to keep putting out new content. But isn't this awesome for mankind? Because we will get so much more art and so much more innovation as a result. And it was the same issue when the copyright law was conceptualized when the printing press first came. When the printing press arrived, all of a sudden people could rent a printing press and copy any book and mass sell it. And people got upset because they had to keep coming up with new work because otherwise they wouldn't be able to make any income. What can we do about this? Use slightly more obscure music. As a DJ, that's what we do best. We need to find music that people don't know and give it a new life and breathe light into other people's music. Make sure you link to that music so that people know where to get it and how to support those artists. The second is when you're streaming, use multiple platforms. You can use simulcasting software or go to websites like restream.io to stream to multiple locations as long as you have a good internet connection. You can also record your live stream and then upload it to alternative platforms afterwards. Copyright was put in place to give creativity light and to make sure the artists were protected. But over time and through the digital age, it turns out that it's actually stifled creativity. Make sure you find ways to support artists you love because there are alternative models. If you want to learn more about how to DJ live stream, check out the guide at djmentors.com/live, or there's a link somewhere. If you want to be part of our DJ business group, you can go check that out on Facebook. And if you want to see the full link to this article, I'll post it somewhere where you can get some more detailed information about DJ copyright and reference to all those articles and links that I basically talked about. So what are you waiting for? Go live now and don't let copyright laws stop you from being creative.